Expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Let's get your weekend started on Fridays with your one and only new host, Denise. Bringing you amped, raw, and fun energy to entertain as you end your week to welcome your weekend. Denise will bring you friends, celebrities, entrepreneurs, topic experts, musicians, foodies, local events, news, and much more to educate, celebrate, motivate, relax, and relate. As she says, let's make your mess your message. So let's get this party started. Here's Denise.
Hi, everyone, and we're back for the second part of our show. You were just listening to The Sixth Borough, and we had some really interesting guests on. We had originally Dave Morrison, who is introducing his product line, and that was through R&D Promo and Source, and then also Safety Works, which we were able to actually, well, he did, I didn't. He was eating,
Freddie
but
did.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we actually have that. We'll talk more about that in a minute. We're going to talk more about that. But we also had Mag Chop, Kenny Ruiz, that was here,
Right.
and also shared the beautiful mug that we have here. But, you know, this is the second half of the show, and I'm going to say it again. The purpose of this show is really now to walk into the backstory of many different high-profile celebrities, things that really are the comeback, or let's say the backstory of the comeback story. So we're going to be having some really good conversation, but this is like this next part of our show for the three that we're going to be having right now. It's like
reunion.
old school, and I think
Family
it's like a
reunion.
reunion.
Absolutely.
And if you want to call in, we're going to be monitoring the calls that are coming in. But for those of you that may have questions for Joe or questions at all, just for Joe, pop them up on the screen, and we'll answer them for you. And if you're watching us, again, you can see us live and get the better experience, and you can see the entire panel, and that would be at Power Up Radio TV on Facebook, and you can also hear us on 96.9, 95.3, and 1470 AM. If you want to go ahead and place a call, at this point, we're asking that you refrain from calls and that you just go ahead and send a message through the Power Up Radio TV page. All right, then. So our next guest, go for it. Who do we have?
We have the man, the myth, the legend, my boy, Dave Icovetti.
Joey, thanks
My
for
brother.
having my brother.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's awesome. It's like old home week, and we got 0-2. What? Double trouble.
And then you broke out those pictures from, what was that, 93, 94?
Yeah, 96,
Oh, well, okay.
97.
That's
Yeah,
close.
yeah. But it's amazing. We're here like almost 30 years later doing what we set out to do a long time ago. And we did it together for a while. Then we went our separate ways. Then some of us took vacations and came back. And
College.
yeah. And then we're, back in the saddle again, still doing our own projects, but also working together on certain things. I've worked on a couple of Ciro's projects in mine. We have a partnership on Silent Partners about my dad and him and in Miami back in the day. And Joey and I did, originated Club TV. We're bringing that back now. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to see if I can't steal him once in a while to be one of the hosts
steal.
again.
The thing with us, the three of us, is whether we're separate, whether we're working together, we always support each other's projects.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a big family.
Right. Yeah, I always say La Familia, right? That's where it comes down to.
Careful.
And what was that? No, you were actually tutoring me on certain things. So what is the difference between this is my friend or...
No, I said these are friends of mine.
Friends of mine.
Yeah.
Code. In the borough, it's a code. Yes, it is. But we're...
Watch TV, Owen.
I watch TV.
I know nothing.
But,
Friends of mine are okay.
But we have a lot to talk about. Originally, can you share where you were from originally?
Well, I was born in Baltimore on the Mason-Dixon line. My dad's from Brooklyn. My mom's from Georgia. So I can fry chicken and bake a mean lasagna at the same time, So I got it both going on. But I spent most of my life in Miami Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and grew up with these guys. Hollandale, Johnny Depp, a lot of those guys that came out of Miami, we crossed paths with along the way. So South Floridian. But my dad was hardcore Brooklyn, his nickname with the boys up there was Davy Crockett because he was like the king of the wild frontier. He'd go to the islands, he'd go to Miami, he'd go to places that none of those guys wanted to go to.
Right?
And then here I am from Baltimore here. So a little bit of both. Got
bit
the
of
north
both.
and south going on there.
So when did you come down here to Miami?
When I was 6 years old, we
You were
actually
6.
came to Miami. Yeah.
Oh, you're a native.
Yeah.
You're truly a native.
If you can survive South Florida for 6 months, you're a veteran.
You grew up in Miami in the crazy time.
Yeah,
you know.
cocaine cowboy days.
I was just coming back and forth for spring break then.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Miami Beach was, Miami itself was murder capital of the world. It was on Time magazine because we had all the cocaine cowboys, the Cuban drug dealers, the real Tony Montanas.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was lucky enough to work on Scarface as an extra, but they did a really good job of what really went on
Wow.
here in Miami during those times. Yeah.
Well, what movies have you actually? Oh, well, just to recap, we know that you're producer,
Correct,
writer,
correct,
actor,
correct,
other talents.
correct.
Yes, exactly. He answered that properly. Yes, he's trained well.
Check. All
Check,
right.
check.
Yes.
Yes, there it is. Okay. Turn the hat backwards. He's getting in. He's getting in the groove. I feel it.
Too funny.
So tell me about the project with the book, because I want to know a little bit more about that, and I'm very curious about it. Hopefully I'll get a copy and read it, and y'all can sign it.
Well, there's 2 books.
There's 2 books,
Yeah.
okay.
So what happened was Ciro came home from his college days and started kicking butt. I mean, really out of nowhere. And he invited me to participate. And at the time, my mother was ill. I was taking care of her. I wasn't able to, so I kind of missed out on Mob King in the beginning. But he did really well with that. And as a web series, just kept picking up millions of viewers. Year later, Joey comes home and he's here. So, but he said to me with Mob King when he got that basically signed off with some people, he goes, "Hey, Dave, I need another project. Let's do something about your father." So I wrote the first book I wrote, which she has my copy that I brought to
Mama,
show you.
Mama Rubo
Mama
there.
Rubo grabbed it coming in.
Yep. May I? Oh, that's the first book.
That's the first book. That one,
Pass
yeah.
it
About his
down?
dad.
Can you pass it over?
Yeah.
My mom and his dad were very good friends. You go into that backstory later.
Yes. So that was about my father. That went to #1 actually on Organized Crime Biographies, Kindle. And I'm not a writer per se. I didn't, I studied at Miami-Dade film and so forth, but not really literature. And it beat out Pablo Escobar's son wrote a biography the same time I did about my dad. And they were going neck and neck for a minute there, and then I had it, then he had it, and then he took over. So, but it was for #1 for a minute. So it had a lot of response from people, and then these guys from New York came. They were connected with the actual Goodfellow guys from the real Goodfellas, the real Lufthansa heist. At least their relatives were, and they said, "Dave, we've got an idea for another project, a fictional project," and they actually hired me and partnered me to write this book.
Oh.
And it takes place here in Boca. And it's about a psychiatrist that goes insane, criminally insane, but no one knows but him. So he starts using all the stuff.
Is he really insane then? I mean, if he only knows is he really insane? Then?
Well, the
I
stuff
mean,
that he does, you can be the judge, and that's pretty much what the book is about. So he starts, instead of all the good things he did as a young doctor, psychiatrist, now he does what he wants to do. So he takes over the underworld, he pisses off the mob, he's got the government after him, he's got some angry husbands after him. And he just basically goes off the chain and takes over the underworld, so everyone's out to get him. So
You had some interest in a movie with that book too, right? That's how good of a book it is. You had some interest about it.
yeah, sure. This one actually, Larry Mazza has an option on it, and he's talking with Martin Scorsese proteges and so forth out of New York about making that into a movie. Larry really liked it, and he's championing it right now. So we're waiting to see how that goes.
God bless.
And some of the guys that were involved in the creation of Sopranos and also, I believe Casino, Goodfellas, one of them, major players are looking at it as well. So he had me on his show, similar to what you guys are doing out in Los Angeles, and we talked about it. So that was my first fiction book, and oddly enough, that's a very adult-oriented book. But a good friend of mine's daughter's 13, and she had to go before the auditorium at junior high school here in Broward County and do a book review, and she picked that one, which blew me away that she would even do such an adult-oriented for junior high. And the whole faculty kind of flipped out, and they wanted to know if that was based on some real characters. Because it's fiction, but I did use real characters to...
Names was changed.
Yeah, names were changed.
To protect the innocent.
Yeah, and they said they're going to add it to the curriculum for Broward
How
County
interesting.
School. Yeah,
Dr. Mensch curriculum.
Well, you know, this is the 6th borough. It's only appropriate that they do that.
right? I agree. I'm happy to be here.
Well, we actually are very happy that you are here. And I know that there is some very interesting things. And I have a question. In all of your works that you've done, who would you say is the one person that was most impressionable to you?
Oh, Frank Sinatra, without a doubt. I mean,
How did I know that?
it was like meeting God when I was 14 years old, you know. My father and him and Jilly Rizzo were partners in the Playboy Club in New York. My mom went there one time when I was a baby, and she said, yeah, some club where those girls wear those furry tails. I go, the Playboy Club.
And how old are you at this time?
I think that was right when I was born or right after I was born, somewhere in the 60s, the mid-60s.
So you asked, what?
No, but later in life, she tells the story how she went when I was a baby to the club or before I was born. But regardless, so he was partners with Sinatra in that. So they were very close for many years. And actually, Sinatra met my father looking for my mom. She had been with him out in Las Vegas. And she was, and still is, a very beautiful lady, but she looked like Ava Gardner. So she attracted Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
Her first boyfriend before my dad was Frankie Carbo. And he was one of the biggest boxing underworld shot callers of the day back then.
Is that right?
Poor guy, he actually got arrested. The FBI was looking for him, and he had been hiding out. Heard my mother was at the horse track where she liked to go. Went looking for her, and that's where they caught him. Got on his tail, and you ladies, I swear to God.
Get him every time.
Get him.
They know right where to go.
But yeah, so he met my dad, and then later on, ironically, both of these guys got to know my father. And
Tell quickly how you met me,
Yes.
your dad, and my mom, and your dad.
So at one point, me and Cyril were doing really well with a television series that we were doing in nightclubs, based similar to Club TV. And my dad called me up and said, son, I need you to run a restaurant. So I go from being a producer and all these fancy, fruit platters and models and champagne to having to cook and run an actual restaurant. And it was the family restaurant. I had always wanted it. So Cyril took on the production end, and I went to the restaurant business for 4 years of hell.
Down here in Florida, obviously.
Down here in Florida in Dania. Careful what you wish for, you just might get it. And
That's
I
a
got
good
it.
restaurant, though.
Yeah, it was a beautiful restaurant. It was actually pretty famous before it was mine. It was Roberto's, which was one of the boys' main locations here. I mean, they had them all coming through there at different times. But anyway, when I took it over, we made it a crab house. We called it Krabby Seafood Cafe. The Herald sent some undercover reporters in there our first month open, which killed us because they said the shrimp scampi was so good that they thought the waiter stole one of the shrimp on the way from the kitchen. And the next thing I know, we had a line outside the door, and we're just 2 months old. So we were like,
And you weren't ready for that.
right.
Yeah, the shrimp stealer does it all the time.
Yeah. So anyway, we ran into a little financial trouble, and my father said, listen, there's a kid going to come see you.
Oh,
He's going to give you some money. Because you make sure you give him every dime back when you say you are. And Joey showed up, and we just hit it
Yeah,
off
we
right
just
from the
became
gate.
buddies right from there.
I had
oh,
worked
you were
on-
you were the messenger.
That was the delivery guy.
Yeah, his uncle Patsy was in with my father in a federal facility, and they were talking. I guess my dad said something, and then his uncle said, "Yeah, I'll have my nephew take him the money." so we basically bounced back. The restaurant was doing well, and about 6 months later, I went to Joey's restaurant and I gave him back the cash that he gave me. I was like, "Thank you so much."
And then we started Cruising TV.
Yeah, and then not long after that, we started our own television series, which was Cruisin' TV. And what it was Discovery Cruise Lines had us on board every Friday night and would bring in different Miami-type groups, erotic, exotic, freestyle
Good old
groups.
days.
Yeah. And then Joey also actually was one of the hosts, but then he went on to do his own spinoff, which was Cruisin' TV, Cruisin' Gourmet, excuse me. And he'd be at different restaurants all over town in the
My
kitchen.
specialty.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The messenger. I understand now. I get it.
But he had starred in A Last American Virgin, so I was like, wow. And I'd been on Porky's, so
Yeah.
it was like a
No,
bomb.
Oh, that was the other. I remember Porky's. That was a great movie.
We became good friends really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. A lot of good times.
What role did you play in Porky's?
I wasn't. I was an extra.
An extra.
So I
It
was
counts.
a student. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and on Scarface I was an extra, but I got to be a fly on the
There's
wall.
Two biggies.
Yeah, and lots of stories, a lot of fun. It was quite an experience.
You know, for individuals that want to go down the path of acting, I mean, being an extra really starts the path, right? In the beginning.
Started for me too.
But all said and done with, you're still getting all that exposure and that experience. And to see such great talent at work, if it's really a movie that has some really top rated A names. Yeah.
Once you do a lead role or speaking role, like extras out of the question. You don't want to do it again.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I would imagine it's
Unless
a
it's
level of progression.
upgraded, or in the credits. That's the only way.
But these guys have both always been front men. I like to just be in the background. If I don't have to talk, if I don't have to be there.
You're the one we need to worry about.
Well, I do
I
like
was
to
born
observe.
yesterday.
I do like to observe from a distance,
But
so
Dave
that
is-
might be a bad thing.
We did Club TV, like what 2000. When did we bring that back?
2009.
And it took off.
We when I tell you we were so close, it's not even funny. I mean, the things that were going on. Denver Nuggets basketball players wanted to buy franchises of Club TV for Denver. Stars were constantly on the show wanting to be there. We partnered with Dennis Rodman. We had one of the hottest nightclubs in Fort Lauderdale on Riverfront
Voodoo
every
Lounge,
Friday night.
yeah.
Voodoo Lounge and Rodman's Rehab. So we were doing electro music and hip hop music in the same spot. And what else happened? Oh, MTV came, had heard about what we were doing.
Yeah.
We were on ABC Miami late night, doing good with the ratings. And they sent one of their hosts when we were at a Club Hotel in West Palm to follow Club TV around.
Yeah.
And we're shooting them, shooting us, and they're shooting us,
Yeah.
shooting them. And I'm like, who would believe this, And if that wasn't enough, a couple of weeks later, I come in and they're like, Dave, VH1 just called. They need a favor. I'm like, what?
Another favor.
But now it's VH1, the only other competition to what we were doing.
And now you're
Right.
bringing it back, right?
And now we're bringing it back. Yeah, but now we're bringing it back as a 24/7 channel.
Wow.
So we'll be having all kinds of spin-offs, our own show. I mean, it's going to go, it's going to start off with loops like everybody does. All the major networks, even HBO started with, they still do it, looping the same movies just in different times. But we've got 30 years of footage to
Vintage
go back
footage,
on,
yeah.
all the way back to Chuck
We all,
Berry.
we
and
all
those
had
days.
nice heads of hair back.
Well, I
Yeah.
tell you what, if it fits right into the sixth borough,
Perfect.
because we take it back in time,
Yes.
and that's
Nice.
what we're doing here is bringing old OG stuff back.
I
to the
like it.
table.
I love your show. It's got a real good personality to it. I watched.
Oh, thank you.
The one last week. Yeah,
it's
no,
getting-
both
it's
of you,
getting very
both of
good
you guys.
feedback, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. But you just feel like you want to see what you guys are looking at next.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Well, if anyone wants to know more about your projects or how to get involved, how can they get in touch with you?
Just clubtv.me is
Okay.
the website. It's on Facebook now, but that will be redirected to a 24-hour channel come July 1st.
Of this year?
Yeah.
How exciting.
Another month away.
And I
Wow.
got, before you go, one last question. When are we doing The Last Association?
Yay! So there's a modern day type Godfather movie that we did, a little similar to.
That's
to
where those
Mob
pictures
King.
were from.
Right.
Right?
And basically, it's going to be something that we had planned to do before the indictments all came down.
I know that word.
Many years ago, and then so we're going to bring that back too. But I'm looking to do that
Yeah.
hopefully
All
early
of us
next
in one
year.
movie? That'd be
Absolutely,
scary.
absolutely, yeah. So can you imagine the three of us? And it's about a underworld.
I got nothing.
It's about an underworld war that is totally off the chains that takes place in South Florida, and it was going to take place in the '90s, but I think we're going to have to
Yeah, we're
boost
gonna
it
have
up.
to move it up. It could still
And
take
we
place
can't
in
play the
90s.
same parts we were going to
The
play.
90s
but-
were cool, though. We can base it on the 90s.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, that whole period in time has a
Yeah.
lot of memories, and people can truly, our listeners and our audience, get that point because that's who's listening
Right,
and watching
right.
us
Yeah.
right now. And
What
I
was the
think it's
name?
old
The
school.
Corota brothers.
Coretta brothers.
Coretta brothers. Right.
Yes.
Corota.
Coretta Brothers, yes.
Italian Guinea name, whatever.
Yeah. I tried to find one
There's
that
no
wasn't
PC here.
already taken. But I can't wait to get it on film with a major role with this guy and this guy. It's going to be fun. We're going to really have fun.
So we're going to first thank you for coming on
Absolutely.
and sharing and the exciting projects that you're working on. We want to make sure that we stay involved and in the loop. We have collaboration with the Wise Guys Show
Nice.
out of is it Newark? They're
Newark, New Jersey, yeah.
Right. Well, actually, they air out of Franklin, but out of Newark.
So it's like a comedy radio show, and they're all
I've heard of them.
yeah.
I've seen them on Facebook.
They're going to
former
be
firemen and stuff. They're hysterical.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're going to
And,
be collaborating with us. So they're actually dubbing us as the South version, the
Nice.
Sixth Borough.
And then Uncle Louie.
We have Uncle Louie
You
coming
ever
to the
watch?
show
You ever
as
see
well.
those guys? They're
Not
hysterical.
Uncle Louie, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
they'll be
they're
on
stuck.
board, and they're going to be part of our show. So
Any
we're
way,
excited to that.
Any way that I can help network, Club TV can
No,
network.
man, you're always welcome here.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Always, yeah.
Always, same with you guys on there. I was even thinking we're going to be shooting on Hollywood Beach. Have you guys come do one of your episodes?
Of course, I'll be there.
Right there on the band show.
We
Right
We got to
there.
go on
Yeah.
tour. We got to go on tour.
Freddie's coming on
Freddie's
that one.
going on tour.
Tour.
On tour.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, of course.
Thank
a
you,
pleasure
buddy.
to meet you. So I'm going to ask you to switch seats.
Sure.
So we can have Cyril
Get out
right
of here.
next to
Get
us.
out of here. Get out of here.
But the conversation is not over. We want you to stay with
Yeah,
us.
stay there.
All right, I will.
Yes. So we have a comment. Joey, baby. I'm here. What's up, guys? From Ralph Vitale.
Hey, Ralphie. What's up? Is this live? Is this current?
Yeah, this is current.
Oh, okay.
There's always
Ralphie-
a wise guy in the room. Oh,
Ralph-
sorry.
Ralphie,
We already got
Ralphie
that.
has a podcast called Rock and Roll Radio. Is that what it's called, Ralph? Don't kill me if I said it wrong. I've been on it twice.
Ralph, give us
The
a
Rock
call.
Shop.
Give
The
us a
Rock
call.
Shop.
The Rock Shop.
And he's had Diane Franklin, who
Oh,
was
yeah?
in Last American Virgin, and me on we were on the same time. And I also crashed it once. He had Lawrence and Diane, and I crashed the show. They weren't too happy about that.
Oh.
But Ralph was.
Ralph.
But
Well,
anyway,
thanks so much,
thanks,
Seb,
Bill.
for giving us the comments. We love to have comments, and you can ask us questions through the comments, but it makes us feel like you love us out there. We love you in the Six Boroughs, so please, by all means, give us some commentary. One thing I want to mention, we mentioned, the Ray Liotta's passing, but also, did you know that Steve Tyler, I didn't know that he was 72 years old.
Wow.
He was 72.
I thought he was older.
He looks it.
Just went into rehab.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. At 72, he just went to rehab once again for pain management issues that he was over addressing with medication. And I didn't know this, but he was born in New York City.
Wow.
So he is a New Yorker through and through. We have to wish him some love out there and rehab and get it together. Guy, you can do it. You can do this.
Big Aerosmith fan as a kid.
Yeah, that's another legend right there.
Yeah.
Another New Yorker. How much talent comes out of New York? So we have with us someone I've been waiting to have on the show for the longest of time, Ciro DiPaggio. You are here finally. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
We really do
It's awesome to be
appreciate
here.
it. Yes, we have so much that we want to talk about, and one
Oh,
of the
believe me,
things-
she's ready with her little notes.
Fire away.
fire away. I know
She
for
took
a
them
fact-
away from me.
Yeah, hold on.
How do you know about that?
Keep your hands up.
Keep them where I can see them. Ciro, you have done so much, and one of the things that we've been talking about that's consistent is in this part of the show, it's about the comeback, right? It's the reinventing, it's the coming back and overcoming, and all of you have done this. You start out one way, you go to school, you come back, and then you have to redo everything or restart over
Right.
again. And I know, Ciro, you've done this a few times, and I'm very impressed. I did a lot of reading. I did bio background, and I just want to hear a little bit more from you, where you are. The biggest project you're working on, yes, is the Mob King.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very curious to know, and I think our audience wants to know as well, where did that story come from?
Well, I mean, the story is, it's basically from our imaginations. We wrote it up, and created a story that would be interesting. But I think what makes it different is in South Florida, the lifestyle that we led and the people that we knew, and experienced. When you go to put that to film, a lot of times people miss because they don't get the beats correct. You know, you
Right.
watch it and you're like, oh, that's garbage or this or that. And I think what attracts people is that we get the beats right, and there's elements that people haven't seen. You know, it's not your, you know, your typical guys hanging on the corner talking about better get my money type stuff. You know,
Right,
it's a whole different spin. You know that people have gravitated to. They thankfully like my character. You know, and you know, it just hit it off. You know, we did a little flashback scene with Dave. I had Joe in the original. I wanted him in the movie, so I wanted him in the movie so bad I put him in the intro from the old days. You know, because I'm the type of person that you know, I'm always loyal to the people that have been there for me. You know
And
what I
the
mean?
Sixth Borough appreciates that
Yeah,
quite
so,
a bit.
you
That
know.
has been forgotten. I think our millennials don't understand that.
Yeah.
That the code
Yeah.
of that respect for sure.
So you know,
Sorry, millennials.
So you know, I mean,
It's
I
true story.
I put together a full feature. The movie's 2 hours long, and that's us trying to shorten it because you know most movies you want an hour and a half or whatever. But it's a true mob tale. It's got great actors. James Russo is the lead. Plays the capo de tutti capi of the family, the Sasso crime family, and you know he's been in Django Chain, Donnie Brasco, you know Public Enemies, so many movies. He's such a
Right.
great actor. And
Remember
we
the
got
movie with Farrah Fawcett? What was the name of
yeah,
that
that
one?
was the first
great.
one.
That was,
I can't remember the name.
Burning
of it.
Bed.
no, when
no.
he breaks into her house and she puts him in the
Yeah,
cage.
and then she puts him in the cage.
So it was good.
Oh,
he
I
was,
don't
he was
remember that
good.
Yeah, that was
movie.
his first
He was-
movie.
yeah, it was
actually.
great in that
Yeah.
movie.
So me and him became very good friends. So he's actually going to be doing a casino robbery movie out in Vegas that he's trying to bring me and my other partner Anthony Caliendo in on that with him to be in that. So we'll see how that goes. But we also got, you know, Robert Lasardo, you know, a whole bunch of great people that are in this movie. So
They just came on in February, right? Am I right? In these new names that you're
oh, this
mentioning?
movie, the movie's complete. It's in sound mix right now.
It is, okay.
Yeah, so in about 4 weeks, we're going to have a final test screening with a select few people to let them see, so we can see the reactions of the new scenes that we added and stuff like that. And then it's going into distribution, hopefully to be in the theaters by September.
Wow, this is long awaited.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did the movie pretty fast on the
Well,
grand scheme
actually,
of
if you
things,
think of it, yeah.
But look, trying to make a movie when you're not anyone in Hollywood or anything like that is like moving a house on your shoulders. It's damn near impossible to do. Of course, you can make short films or you can make little projects. You could do this and that, and everybody thinks, "Oh, I'll get distribution on it," but it's so not like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? You need to have real money behind it. You need to have real high quality production. You need to have very good acting, and then you need to have a story that works. And
Sure.
all of those things have to work for it to even have a shot at getting out of the box.
Right.
So I'm just fortunate that I got a lot of good people. George Joxianes is part of my team. He's an Emmy Award winner. That's the highest honor you can get when it comes to television. Anthony Carone, who brought all the people to me. You know, he's been in 1,000 movies. You guys know who he
he's
is.
in a lot of movies.
And,
yeah.
you know, so I just have good people around me. I have great backers, you know,
Right.
that believe in me. And I come through for them. I produce, you know.
So I know that for the movie you filmed in Europe.
No. In Europe, that was a television deal that I had.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Okay.
Excuse me. That was a television deal that I had. I still kind of have. I'm kind of putting it on hold because I feel like my options will be a lot better now
Here.
because
Okay.
of the movie.
Right.
And you know, so it's there, but I'm not in no hurry to go back over there. I almost died when I was over there.
Yes, and that's something
know,
that
so-
I know you've had a real bad health issue that
Yeah.
you had to encounter and overcome.
Yeah.
And a lot of us were right behind you praying for your
Thank you.
healing and health.
Yes.
And again, that's a comeback because you were close.
Yeah, it was bad. I had organ failure. I had diverticulitis, complicated diverticulitis. Had septic shock. It was a real rough thing. I lost 70 pounds.
And this was all in Spain.
Yeah, all a year and a half ago. So I put it all back. You know, thankfully my physique came back, and you know I was able to get the movie on track. Finish
That's a
the
miracle.
movie.
I want you to know that in
I-
my opinion, the way I had seen you, it was a miracle.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yes,
I'm
I know.
surprised myself. They left me in a room for 2 days just to see if I would pass away or not.
Wow.
Yeah, I had blood poisoning. So.
Well, that's a good care
Yes.
healthcare system.
Well,
over
no,
there.
they had this. There was just nothing else could be done. It was either going to work
you
or it
just
wasn't
fought
going to
it out.
work.
Right, right.
Yeah, I mean, I had nothing to do with it. I mean, people always say, "Oh, you were strong, you were this, you were that." I
It
had
just
no-
happened?
Yeah, it just happens. I just laid there. you know, it's
But
not
you
like
know
I
it's
said.
Rocky?
It's not like I said, hey, I'm gonna be Rocky or something. I just, I was just,
Sounded good.
They wouldn't let me drink. They wouldn't let me eat, and they had this one nurse that would come in. He wouldn't tell me anything. And a couple
Well, if
days
that
later,
didn't kill you, they wanted to kill you, it sounds like.
they had a drain in my back, and it was spitting out all this dark
Wow.
fluid
Wow.
or whatever. Yeah, so
Goodness.
it was just crazy, a crazy time. So I'm in no hurry to go back there if I don't have to.
I don't blame you. It's a crappy healthcare system, if you ask me.
What a brilliant thing that you did was when you had that private screening, which I came to thank
Yes.
you for that.
And I apologize I couldn't make it. I
you
was ill.
you gave out those cards. Those
Yeah.
that was a great idea, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what it's made you put those other scenes in.
Yeah.
So
Well, actually,
one thing
what-
about him, sorry, he listens to your feedback. You know, he
I have to
listens
say
what
that,
he-
yeah.
what people ask.
I think it's
Yeah.
important, that like a lot of people wonder how I have so many people that actually care about me on social media, and for the most part, my haters are like in one hand, 4 or 5 guys, that for whatever reason they do, but for the most part, people support me. I think it's because I engage with them, I share
Yeah.
with them, I make them part of my life, and what I'm doing, and to see the struggle, and hopefully to inspire people that. Listen, man, if somebody like me who gets it from the dirt can come out and make things happen, then maybe you can too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's how I do it. I just, I don't have no ego. You don't come from where I came for 19 years total time and come out with an ego. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Because, I spent a lot of time away from my kids. They suffered. Everybody who knew me suffered. So there's no place for me to be like, yeah, I'm great.
Sure.
There's nothing great about me. It's hopefully I make a good movie that people like. I'm trying to reverse my legacy for my kids so
Wonderful.
that they can be happy about their dad and what he did as opposed to what they used to hear. I personally, whatever was blamed on me or whatever I had to go through, it was all just part of a chapter, and it was done.
Move on. Yeah.
And I move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and hopefully make good content. And I got a lot of good stuff coming out. I got a great pilot about roughly about his dad. It's not his dad is in it, but it's not about his dad. It's about the insurance game that was going on at that time.
Oh.
That me and Dave
Insurance game.
That me and Dave were intimately in knowledge of and involved in. So we kind of turned that into a pilot, and it's really, really
I
good.
thought it was really good.
It's really
Yeah.
good.
And it is based on a true story.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
It's
Wow.
called Silent Partners. It's really good, and COVID came,
Yeah.
obviously. So
Oh,
again,
we have a healing cure for that now.
I thought it was monkeypox.
Listen,
No, the
you should
spray.
bring this
I've
You missed-
never had it. So.
No, you missed earlier.
Anything you catch, this is the healing.
When you
Okay.
guys
Feels
watch the
everything.
show later, you'll see.
Actually, swallow this. Too.
Oh my God.
It's true.
When you watch it later, you'll laugh. You say, "Now I
Yeah.
know what they were talking about."
Too funny.
So anyway, Silent Partners was done. We have people like Nick Vallonga. At the time, he had just won the Academy Award. His dad was Tony Lip for Green Book.
Right.
He called me up and asked if he could be in Silent Partners. So to have somebody of that stature,
Right.
especially at that moment when he won, was very humbling, And I put him in as a boss out of Chicago in the show, and James Russo's in that as well, and a bunch of other good actors, D'Onofrio and a few other guys that are really good, Mike Marino. So now that COVID is a little bit lowered down, when you're, like I was going to say, when you're somebody who's not well known in entertainment circles in Hollywood,
Yep.
they don't necessarily allow people to break through the ceiling.
No, it's a
you know?
tight
You-
circle.
It's
very
very
tight,
difficult
yeah.
to do. So to get someone to say, okay, I had an offer. I had a really good offer for Silent Partners, but the thing about it was is they just wanted to buy it, and then they were
Oh.
going to scrap everything. They were just going to keep me as the lead. And one of the things that I like to do when I tell the actors that I tell them that I'm going to, if I gets picked up, I'm going to have you
Keep
in
you
the
in it,
series.
yeah.
So I'm thinking we spent a lot of money on this pilot, and it's going to all go to waste. And then all of these guys that wanted this role and were hoping to count on it, it's just wasted because you wanted to do it. So I left that alone at that time. I feel like now, especially with the movie coming out, it's getting a lot of good press. It's a really good movie. It's got a lot of strong performances by a lot of people. Mike Villar's performance is great. Elizabeth Fantone, Celine Alva, they're just really good performances. Anthony Caliendo. So, I feel like with that, coupled with a few other pilots and stuff that I've put together, I got a prison comedy that I put together. It's on Amazon right now. You can go to Amazon Prime, search Cyril DePazio or Suitcasing, and the prison comedy will come up. So, I've done all of this in 3.5, 4 years. I keep making
That's incredible.
projects.
I mean, 3.5, 4 years between health and everything that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So you are a superhero.
No. But I mean, you know,
In the 6th borough, it's okay.
I'm just
okay.
fortunate. I have a couple of people who have really believed in me. You know, about 10 people who have really believed in me, and that comes from people who put their money where their mouth is. 2, 3 people especially who have done it on a scale that's enabled me to get these projects done. You know, so the content is there. Now it's just a matter of putting it into the thing. Hopefully Mob King pushes it over the top, and then that'll allow me to open the doors for a lot of South Florida actors who are friends and
Fabulous. That's
and
great.
people who
Opportunity.
and people who are good, because I don't want to give a job to somebody who's famous. I would love to work with Leonardo DiCaprio. That's my favorite actor. You know,
You kind of
so
look alike.
I would do any.
Sitting
I would.
there.
I would love to be in a movie with him. But when it comes time for me to cast roles and stuff like that, I'm going to always defer, if I can, if I become somebody, to people who I've encountered. You know,
Sure.
the ones that need to be.
That were there
lifted up.
for you along the way.
Yeah, well, the ones that need the work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a firm believer that it's better for me to give somebody who needs the work than somebody who's already rich and famous. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Right, exactly. We do. Here's one of the posters that we see here from the Mob King. But I
Yeah.
know we also have a trailer. Freddie, do you think you can?
Yeah, you can
It's
show
embedded.
that if you want.
It's embedded into one of the emails. Okay. We'll keep chatting.
Did Maverick come out tonight?
Yeah, it comes
It came
out
out
this
tonight,
weekend,
right?
yeah.
I wanted to see that.
And that movie took 3 years to come out because of COVID.
Yeah.
That was one of my. You went ahead.
didn't
Things to
anybody.
do this weekend.
Oh, you had that?
I have that.
I jumped on her.
God, I can't take them anywhere.
She's like runs a tight ship.
Joe's
God,
a
I got you
sharp
covered.
cookie.
Uh-huh.
I
Yep.
cheated. I saw your notes.
Yeah, hello. One of the most impressive things that I think I want to really press upon is the ability to reinvent yourself. And,
Yeah.
you know, if you think about it, you said you wanted to leave a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me is one of the things I'm trying to achieve as well. And I think it's a great aspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when you spend time in time, doing time, you know, you actually have enough, I think, whether it's that or whether it's going through a very deep depression or something that's very traumatic in your life, it causes you to really step back and reinvent yourself and reevaluate. Some people don't learn their lessons, but they have to go back and, you know, learn again. But for that part, though,
You're looking at me for.
But you appreciate it a lot more the second time around.
there you go. Second time's a charm. Is that what they say? I don't know.
While he's run up the chart, tell us about the oil. Talk
Yes,
about the
I
oil.
wanted to. He's just moving things along. Yes, I want to know
keep
about this
going here.
oil, and this one's mine because you signed it. I'm very excited about
Signed
this.
them all. Don't
You
feel.
signed- okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I just signed that one.
Okay,
But I can't sign them all.
So tell me how this came to be. So we have olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Okay, you got to tell me more about this.
Well, we have Caliendo Foods has, you know, the big cheese. Anthony Caliendo has a huge food company.
Mm-hmm.
He's the main backer of my Mob King movie, and you know, he wanted to do a special off label of his Caliendo oils. So we have the Mob King special editions. We have 12 different flavors, and
12?
yeah, we have a whole bunch more than that I brought there. But we have a whole bunch. Period. But with the Mob King special editions, we have so. We've sold literally thousands of bottles because I sign an autograph and I actually pack them for everybody who orders. So we've went through the first run already, you know, and I
Wow.
do that every day, 10, 12, 15 orders. I pack them up, wrap them, send them out. And I think that the reason why I do that obviously is because if people are going to, you know, like care enough to buy something that has my name on it, then I'm going to let them know that I care enough to sign it and package it and send it. You know, maybe a year from now or 2 years from now I won't be able to do that, but I can do it now, so
So
I
you're
will
doing
do
it, yeah,
now.
and they appreciate it.
So I go ahead and made that happen where I can handle all those orders. So when they come into the warehouse, I go ahead and go pick up the papers and
And sign all day.
I go make them up with the mailing orders they put together for me and
Right.
everything, and you know I
Well,
I
we
put
use
it
a lot
out,
of
so-
olive oil in my household.
At my house
Of course,
too.
I mean, listen,
Oh,
the
yeah.
stuff is really good, and
The hair, everything.
they keep buying it, so it's you know, so it's really good. You can go to mobkingoliveoil.com.
So there is one that is spicy that you.
Yeah,
told
the
me.
chili pepper. People put
chili
it on their
pepper?
eggs and stuff like that. You know, it's got a little spice to it.
Which one is it? It's one, the chili pepper one.
Yeah.
There
yeah,
you go.
Yeah, I brought it for Joe because
And then there was-
a little hot, spicy food.
Then
He's
there
a hot
was
little chili pepper.
there
so-
was
He was
another
in a movie called Chili.
hot chili.
That's
Yeah. Then there was
Movie, yeah.
then there was another one. It was fused with something.
What was
Oh, we
the
got
other
all
flavor?
type of
Yeah.
infused flavors. We have apple balsamic.
That's
for
the
fruits.
one. I
Yeah,
heard
that
that one
one's
was-
it's
yeah,
great. Yeah,
heard-
and then we have lemon, olive oil, garlic, Tucson,
Fabulous.
all that. You can see it all on the
Is
website.
it coming from Italy? I mean, where
Yes,
is it made?
we import from Spain and Italy, and we do all of our bottling here in South Florida, and then we ship it out from here. So, but the main crux of the business is, selling 1,000-kilo totes. This is just something that he did. The retail side of it. It's not
Right.
really where
Special edition.
Yeah, it's not really what he does. He does
Yeah.
big bulk for
Right.
Big huge companies
It's a
that
good- it's a
make
good-
salad
it's a
dressings
nice
and
touch.
all
It's
this other
good.
kind of stuff. So
I like it.
Yeah.
I think he's got the trailer ready.
Alrighty then.
Cool.
Oh, you don't got it. You're going like this. It's in bed. Oh,
You want to take the cap and open it and taste it? Oh,
I could send it to you right now, a link. If you
yeah.
have
Why don't you do that? Yeah.
Well, I have
Okay.
Venmo link.
It's Vimeo.
Yeah, no, I don't have it on that. Yeah, I have the clip on a Vimeo that I could send to
Sign
you.
copy.
Oh, thank you.
You
I
got a
got
phone
mine.
number for me to send it to?
where's mine?
I got one in the car.
No, you already gave
Oh,
me.
you have it?
But I can't download it.
Oh, well,
I
I
signed it on one of those.
could just send it right to whatever you want me to send it to. Maybe you can do it from there.
Well, while they're sending that, so
Or you can just hook it from my phone if you want to. If you could do that.
well, we're gonna as our listeners, you guys can go ahead and maybe figure it out. If you go right to YouTube, you can actually download it that way too.
No, it's not on YouTube. the
Oh,
trailer.
sorry, it's on
No.
Vimeo. is
Yeah,
what
it's
you
a
said.
link.
It's on your page too, right?
Yeah, this is just a pre-production trailer. It's not the official
Yeah.
trailer.
Like I
Yeah.
But
said,
it is out there if anyone wants
Yeah,
to
it's
see
on my
it.
page. Yeah.
Okay, on your Instagram or is it
On Facebook.
on Facebook? And
Yeah.
it's Ciro DiPaggio.
Yeah, my Facebook is public, and my personal page, I have like 1,050,000 followers, so
Mm-hmm.
everybody can see whatever.
I was lucky enough to be at that. You were invited and you didn't go. What's the matter with you?
I was
she
sick.
got sick.
I was truly
All right,
sick.
surely.
Yeah.
But I was good, except my seats. I was like this, watching.
Oh yeah, you're the front row. I was behind you.
But the girl that I brought with me, Cece, she loved it too. It was good. She like kept grabbing onto me and stuff.
So when you were
It's good.
and I asked this question of Dave as well, who is the one person that you've met in your travels that was a big influence for you?
In what regard? Just
Um,
life, general?
Well, let's talk about the movies, and the acting. So give me that first.
I haven't really been able to like meet heroes in the film industry yet, so I wasn't fortunate like him to be on extras and stuff like that on the sets with these powerhouses like Pacino and stuff like that. But I did get to have a conversation with DiCaprio a year and a half ago, and J-Lo one point and stuff like that. But I'm really not a person that gets enamored with stardom and everything. Like if you know me, you know that I don't really care so much about being an actor. Like I don't go on calls and I don't read for parts. I don't do other people's projects. It's whatever I create because I want to create projects. So I want to get to the point where I don't have to do any acting. I'm just creating the projects,
Right.
So I'm trying to do my projects where I can get a deal that just produces for a network,
Sure.
like a streaming company like
Keep
Hulu
making
or somebody like
content,
that,
yeah.
where I just make content with
Right.
different actors.
Right.
I mean, I do it now because it works for the projects that I've done, but it's not something that I'm hanging my hat on. I don't want to
Yeah.
do this forever acting and stuff like that. To me, it's like really boring. I hate standing around waiting. All that
You
other
gotta hurry up
stuff.
and wait.
Yeah.
It's like Disney. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks great, when you finally get it done and you get to see everything, but it's just not me. That's not where my heart's at. My heart is in taking an idea and
Creating.
turning it into where you look at it and say project.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Did you think as a child you would ever be doing this?
well, yeah. I mean, me and Dave, when we were little kids, man, we were running around acting like we were making TV shows.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it goes that far back that you
Yeah.
saw
Bermuda
it was
bar.
in you. Wow.
Yeah.
At 14, I had actually a fake news camera and would stand on Arthur Godfrey Road
Yeah.
and with a flashlight for a hotel at night, and people were like waving, thinking they were.
They were on TV.
Yeah, we were characters, man. I mean, we were characters.
And
so,
that's where it started.
yeah. So
early,
I mean, I obviously have a great admiration for his father. He opened a lot of doors for me and did a lot of things for me and a lot of his friends. I'm not a person ever since I've been doing this entertainment stuff. I'm not one that tries to clout chase. I don't ever say, "Oh, I knew this guy or that guy or this guy or that guy." The only reason why it ever came about, my relationship with Dave or his father, for that matter, was because we decided to do a book. I never mentioned it before. It was never even brought up.
But he's very humble. I mean, he's a very talented musician, singer, actor. Is
That's
probably
right. I
the
forgot you
latest.
did the singing thing. That's,
But I mean, I would go to meet him at dinner,
Another
and there would
lifetime.
be,
And he
you
was
know,
singing?
stars that he's not mentioning right now. I mean, we had a whole night with a couple of them in limousines.
Uh-oh.
Steve Gutenberg for one of them.
Oh,
Right
as an
off the
oldie.
bat.
Wow,
Yeah.
Steve Gutenberg.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with Brad Pitt before he was even known, and then Legend
Is that
of the
right?
Fall came out, and he just blew up.
And
Yeah.
Johnny Depp
Wow.
was
Yeah.
performing
Johnny
at Button
Depp, yeah.
South with his
Yeah.
band.
Yeah, we see him
Same
every
time
night.
his band was
Well,
performing.
he's from
so-
Hollywood.
Hollandale.
Florida.
Hollandale.
Well, he's
Hollandale?
from Miramar, actually.
Miramar
Oh,
with
Miramar.
the
Button
West
South.
But
wow.
he'd always be in
Yeah.
Hollandale at the Button South. playing his
Yeah,
music.
with the Button South.
So we've been
yeah.
going there since young teenagers, and it's still there. Crazy enough, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's a strip club now,
It's
but
the
it's
Cheetah,
still
right?
the same building. Yeah.
Wow. So those are really great names. Like
Yeah.
some older names because this is
God,
where we
you
are.
guys are making me
we're bringing
feel
it back.
old now.
Yeah, we're
Well,
going
we
old school.
are.
Hey, there's nothing old. We're just aging
We made it,
wisely.
though.
We're aging wisely. Again, I am so grateful that y'all made it here because these are stories that I think entertain our viewers and listeners, and there's depth here. If you put everything else inside, the levity and everything, but you have created depth, and I can't say this enough. In this part of our show, it's about the comeback and the story of just really trying to do what's right for you. Stick to your story, what's authentic to you, and that's what I'm gathering. I mean, if it feels good and you want to create it, go for it.
Absolutely. Just one anecdote I want to add to this. The Ocean Manor was like a swanky place for the boys to hang out for many years.
Except
And
the Kiki Bar.
Yeah.
The one in Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah. As if
The
you
tea
wouldn't
bar.
know.
Oh, dear.
and I had the honor of hanging out with him there several times.
Mm-hmm.
But he had an associate talking about people that made an impression in your life. And this guy was a friend of my father's, Jerry Chili. Well, he was looking after him like he was his own son at that time.
Sounds like a movie.
And I had a reputation of being a rogue character, to say the least. My father was well respected. I was maybe not. So when they heard that me and him were in business together doing the TV show, I get a call to come to Ocean Manor, and Jerry Chili's in prison on the phone telling me, that blonde kid is a friend of mine. I don't care who your father is. He's a friend of mine, but I don't want to have to come back here. That was the second most impressionable person
That was another message, huh?
Yes.
Another message you received.
Actually, he told him, you better not ask him for no money.
Yeah, there you go.
That's all the call was for.
All I know is I was really shook up from that.
Yeah. Well, that was my base for a couple of years. I ran everything out of the Ocean Manor, for everybody. All of them came through. They got their,
That place been around there a while, huh? I didn't know it's been there that long.
Oh yeah,
Ocean
this
Manor,
was in the
and
'90s. It was.
Yeah. Well,
was
Frank,
it?
Frank owns it.
Frank
Yeah.
wasn't the owner then.
But now,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know what was.
He's been the owner now, I think, about 12, 15 years, something
But there was
along
an owner
those lines.
before him, and then it was the owner before him.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
It's still for a while. It was the only place with a tiki bar on the beach.
It still is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no more.
No, it's still there.
It was great in the
No,
'90s.
but
We had a great time.
There's other
there.
ones now.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I don't know, but he still has that one there.
Old Frank.
Yeah, good old Frank. But, I appreciate what you're saying with respect to sharing as much as you have. There's so many stories that people are listening, and, these are the kind of stories that people want to hear because it's real and
Man,
it's local.
I don't want you
and-
guys to go, man.
I know. I'm like, we can't go. We don't want you to
Great
leave.
being here.
I mean, he's being very humble too. I mean, some of the stories that I know of just, blow him away. I mean, one time he had a large sum of money hidden somewhere, and he gets out, he gets it, he puts it in his trunk, he's driving, and he sees like a SWAT team with helicopters all gathering in the circle across the way. And he goes, geez, I wonder what that's all about. And the helicopter goes, zoop, and they all surround him, and they take his Ferrari.
980,000 in cash.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Seized.
Seized.
So
And
we
then they
have
got
a
me
lot
again
of-
a week later with 280, and I had to change the way I was doing things.
So we have a lot of stories
Like,
that
okay,
can be
this
told
isn't
on
fluke.
film.
It's got to change the way we do
I
things.
guess so.
But as far as storytelling, we've got a lot
got
to
a lot.
learn from.
When you're on set, I mean, you're doing some pretty serious stuff on set, the theme of the show. Are there any moments where you just, everyone just breaks down and starts laughing?
No, I mean my sets are very laid back. I don't subscribe to the typical Hollywood stuff where it's got to be all serious. And when it comes time for action, great, But I just like to have everybody laid back, everybody cool. I associate with the same people all the time because certain people are one way. I like humble people. I like people who appreciate things. I like people who are going to give of themselves for stuff, and vice versa. Because what I do is I'm not creating for me. I don't care what happens with me. It's for me right now. It's all about building for my kids, to be able to help my kids, to be able to help my friends that deserve it, and that's it. I'm not chasing the spotlight. I really don't care about it. If Mob King hits and it's a great movie and I make a lot of money, you more than likely will never see me on film again. I'll just produce movies. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because
right.
that's where I like to be at.
Sure.
So that's what it boils down to as far as that goes.
Sometimes the creative part is even more satisfying than the acting.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
just what I like to do.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
what gets me going.
Well, your kids are beautiful. Little
Thank
Ciro
you.
is amazing.
It's my life.
Yeah, I tell you, you see, if anyone wants to see pictures of Ciro and what he does, again, I know you're very active on Facebook. Ciro DiPaggio, you can follow him and see what he posts. And I know for a fact that if anyone sends you a message, you reply.
Yeah.
I know that. For a
Well,
fact.
comments.
Or
I don't really
comments.
Messenger. I get so many messages.
Yeah.
You can't keep up with it. I mean, obviously, I have 1 million followers just on Facebook, and I get so many. I don't even like saying that because you sound like a retard saying, "Oh, I get so many messages." But it's just very hard to do that, and at the same time, be able to comment and everything else. So I like to comment. If somebody's going to take the time to comment on my page, I want to respond to it.
Right.
And
it's like what you doing,
Makes sense,
filing your own and signing.
Yeah, so it's a lot of
olive
work,
oil.
but I wouldn't be anywhere in this business or be able to attain investors or anything like that if I didn't have a following. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
then I would just be
Yeah, you
like,
got clout.
That's what makes people want
right.
to get involved.
How you doing
Right.
over there?
Yeah, he's
Learning.
listening. So we are actually going to go to our close. Thank you so much for being here with
Thank
us.
you,
You are
guys.
invited
Appreciate it.
anytime. I thought your lovely wife would show up here. I was really looking forward to seeing Lola, but perhaps next time.
Okay.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Dave, for being
you for
here.
having me.
I look to have Dave. Thank you as well for being here. And
Dave.
Mama, thank you so much for being here, Mama Rubo. Thank you so
Rubo.
much. And we look forward to doing more shows like this. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed it. We want your feedback. And with that said, events for this weekend, we have a few things that are happening. So the Tom Cruise movie came out.
Yes.
Things to do this weekend. We have the Air Z show down in Miami. It's Memorial Day weekend, so there are lots of different beach events that everyone can go to. And
What are you going to do this weekend?
I'm looking. I got a date. I never get dates.
Sleep.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping anything. I'm just gonna hang out. I'm just
Me
gonna clean
too.
the house. I don't know. I'm gonna cook, make meatballs. I don't know. We'll do something. But with that said, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. And we look
thank you
forward to
again,
hearing
guys.
you. Yes, thank you so much for being here. I hope you like the material, you like the show, and be a friends.
you,
and
Freddie.
Thanks for being in the borough with us. We're creating our own little system. We got our own straws now. We have our own cleaning sanitation section over here. And, if you're in the sanitation business, what that means in the borough. And so with that said, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Have a great, great weekend. Be safe. Make good choices.
Thank you. That was all.
You have been listening live to the one and only timeless Denise as she helps you bring in your weekend with a smile. If you wish to contact Denise and be on the show, call us at 866-224-5422 or email Denise at poweredupradiotv.show and tell us how your business shapes up the weekend. Again, call us at 866-224-5422 and make your mess our message. Now that you are powered up, go get your weekend on.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were